wisdom. With the divisions of the Abysssimilacra. Translated by Edward Conze. University of California Press, Berkeley, Los Angeles, London. Translation of the Sutra. Chapter 13. The Six Perfections. 7 to 10. The progress as such. Armed with the great armor. Purna, son of Maitrayani. It is clear also to me in what sense a bodhisattva is called a great being. The Lord. Make it clear then, Purna. Purna. A bodhisattva is called a great being, because that being is armed with the great armor, has set out in the great vehicle, has mounted on the great vehicle. Sariputra. How great is that which entitles him to be called armed with the great armor? Purna. Here a bodhisattva, who courses towards enlightenment, and has stood firmly in the perfection of giving, gives a gift not for the sake of a limited number of beings, but, on the contrary, for the sake of all beings. And in the same spirit he practices the other perfections. A bodhisattva is not armed with the great armor if he delimits a certain number of beings, and thinks, so many beings will I lead to nirvana, so many beings will I not lead to nirvana. So many beings will I introduce to enlightenment, so many beings will I not introduce to enlightenment. But on the contrary, it is for the sake of all beings that he is armed with the great armor, and he thinks, I myself will fulfill the six perfections and also on all beings will I enjoin them. And the same with the unlimited, etc. 2. The buddha-dharmas. By something as great as that is a bodhisattva, a great being called armed with the great armor. 7. The progress which consists in putting on the armor. 7a. The sextad connected with the perfection of giving. Furthermore, Sariputra. The perfection of giving of a bodhisattva, who courses imperfect wisdom and gives gifts, consists in that, with attentions associated with the knowledge of all modes, he turns over to full enlightenment that gift which he gives, after he has made that wholesome root which results from the act of giving common to all beings. His perfection of morality consists in that, with his whole attention centered on the knowledge of all modes, he shuns the attentions of disciples and pratyekabuddhas. His perfection of patience in the enduring of those dharmas, in his willingness to find pleasure in them, in his ability to tolerate them. His perfection of vigor in the indefatigability with which he continues to dedicate his wholesome roots to full enlightenment, after he has made them common to all beings. His perfection of concentration in his one-pointedness of thought when he gives a gift. So that, when he dedicates that wholesome root to enlightenment, after he has made it common to all beings, he gives through keeping his whole attention centered on the knowledge of all modes, no opportunity to a disciple thought or a pratyekabuddha thought. His perfection of wisdom consists in that he sets up the notion that everything is made of illusion, and in that he gets at no giver, recipient, or gift. With his thought associated with the knowledge of all modes, that bodhisattva does not make these six perfections into a sign, and does not get at them. It is thus that a bodhisattva, who courses in perfect wisdom, is armed with the great armor. 7b. The second sextad, connected with the perfection of morality. Furthermore, a bodhisattva, who courses in perfection of morality, gives a gift with attentions associated with the knowledge of all modes, dedicates it to full enlightenment, after he has made the merit from that gift common to all beings, and that without taking anything as a basis. This is the perfection of giving of a bodhisattva who courses in the perfection of morality. With his whole attention centered on the knowledge of all modes, a bodhisattva does not long for the level of a disciple or pratyekabuddha, and much less still for the level of the common people. This is the perfection of morality of a bodhisattva who courses in the perfection of morality. The enduring of those dharmas, the willingness to find pleasure in them, the ability to tolerate them, that is the perfection of patience of a bodhisattva who courses in the perfection of morality. The indefatigability and uncowedness with which he continues to dedicate his wholesome roots to full enlightenment, after he has made them common to all beings, that is the perfection of vigor of a bodhisattva who courses in the perfection of morality. The one-pointedness of thought of a bodhisattva who practices morality, i.e., that he gives, through keeping his whole attention centered on the knowledge of all modes. No opportunity to production of thought associated with disciples and pratyeka Buddhas, when he dedicates that wholesome route to full enlightenment, after he has made it common to all beings. He sets up the notion that everything is made of illusion. He gets at no one who practices morality, and that morality he does not either mind or get it. This is the perfection of wisdom of a bodhisattva who courses in the perfection of morality. It is thus that a bodhisattva who courses in the perfection of morality takes hold of the 6 perfections. It is thus that he comes to be called armed with the great armor. 7c. The third sextad, connected with the perfection of patience. Furthermore, a bodhisattva, who courses in the perfection of patience, gives a gift. With his attention centered on the knowledge of all modes, and not associated with disciple or pratyeka Buddhas, he dedicates that wholesome route to full enlightenment, having made it common to all beings. This is the perfection of giving of a bodhisattva who courses in the perfection of patience, should be understood by analogy with what has been said before. A bodhisattva, who courses in the perfection of patience, exerts himself through wisdom to procure all buddha-dharmas, and to mature all beings. This is the perfection of wisdom of a bodhisattva who courses in the perfection of patience. 7d. The fourth sextad, connected with the perfection of vigor. By analogy one should understand the 6 perfections of a bodhisattva who courses in the perfection of vigor. 7e. The fifth sextad, connected with the perfection of meditation and concentration. 7f. The sixth sextad, connected with the perfection of wisdom. Furthermore, a bodhisattva, who courses in the perfection of wisdom, gives a gift which is threefold pure. With his attention centered on the knowledge of all modes, he dedicates to full enlightenment that gift which he gives, after he has made that wholesome route common to all beings. This is the perfection of giving of a bodhisattva who courses in the perfection of wisdom. Similarly should one understand the perfection of morality, patience, vigor, and concentration of a bodhisattva who courses in perfect wisdom. With regard to all perfections, and to all dharmas, he sets up the notion that they are an illusion, a dream, a reflected image, an echo, a reflection, a magical creation. With his attention centered on all knowledge, he dedicates to full enlightenment that wholesome route, after he has made it common to all beings. It is thus that a bodhisattva, who courses in perfect wisdom, fulfills the perfection of wisdom. A bodhisattva is then called armed with the great armor. It is thus that a bodhisattva, having stood firm in each single perfection, fulfills all the 6 perfections. 7g. The armor of the skill and means. Furthermore, a bodhisattva enters into the trances, unlimited, and formless attainments, but he does not relish them, is not captivated by them, is not reborn on account of them. This, sariputra, is of a bodhisattva, a great being, the perfection of wisdom which is associated with skill and means. A bodhisattva furthermore dwells in the trances and formless attainments by way of the vision of detachment, of emptiness, of the sign less, of the wish less, and yet he does not realize the reality limit. This is the great armor of the skill and means of the bodhisattva who courses in the perfection of wisdom. 7h. The resume of the sextad on the armor. T is thus that a bodhisattva is called armed with the great armor. About this bodhisattva the Buddhas, the Lords, in the 10 directions utter a shout of triumph. Proclaim his praise, announce his name, and make the pronouncement that in this world system that bodhisattva, that great being, is armed with the great armor. And he matures beings and purifies the Buddha field. 8. The progress in setting out. Set out in the great vehicle. Sariputra. Through how much does the bodhisattva become one who has set out in the great vehicle, one who has mounted on the great vehicle? 8. The entering on and emerging from the trances and formless attainments. Purna. Here, coursing in the perfection of giving, a bodhisattva dwells detached from sense desires, detached from evil and unwholesome dharmas, in the attainment of the first trance, which is with thoughts adjusted and discursive, born of detachment, full of rapture and ease. And so for all the 4 trances, and for the 4 formless attainments. These are a bodhisattva's trances and formless attainments. When a bodhisattva courses in the perfection of giving through these trances and formless attainments, enters into and emerges from them, through the modes, characteristics, and signs of space, makes these wholesome roots common to all beings, and dedicates them to full enlightenment, then this is a bodhisattva's perfection of giving. Similarly, he acts with regard to the perfections of morality, patience, vigor, and concentration. Moreover, a bodhisattva, coursing in the perfection of wisdom, enters into the 4 trances and the 4 formless attainments. When a bodhisattva dwells through these trances and attainments in the perfection of wisdom, and, while entering into and emerging from them, attends to the modes, characteristics, and signs of space, and, coursing in the perfection of wisdom,